We got to talk about this because we see it glorified so much because the title attorney, they're happy you're closing, the real estate agent, they're happy you're closing, the bank's happy you're closing, you're happy you're closing, but you don't even know why you're happy yet. You just think you have a rental property and I might make
Yeah.
some money, but
Yep.
you don't know what you're getting into. So a lot of people will teach you how to buy it, but not a lot of people teaching you how to manage it. And I think
The,
that's the thing that's missing.
I think you're exactly right. The whole thing is that, again, so I'm a business guy, and so I grew up in corporate America. And I at towards the second half of my career, I became a fixer. And a fixer is you go into a company, all you do is ask questions and listen for like 2 months, 3 months. That's all you do. And from that, you come away with, based on what successful businesses do, here are 6 things that you are doing that are going to make you unsuccessful. And so what I did was very much with dissecting and kind of reverse engineering the plan of all these landlords out there that fail. The issue is that everybody gets the dopamine hit when they buy. And then it is a massive decline, hard and fast off that dopamine hit. And then you hit depression.
Hmm?
And so the issue is that I said, why is it? And it's because everybody sells the sexy and sells the flex. No one wants to, this is as sexy as I get, and that's not good. But the cool thing is that you start off, everyone wants to do the flex, sexy flex, right? The issue is that buying happens here, managing the asset lasts here. So where do you want to spend your time focusing? It's important that you know a bunch of different ways to buy. That's important. But what's far more important is the parentheses. It's living within the parentheses.
Yeah.
Just like you see on a tombstone, what's the most important thing? The dash. That's the most important thing. And so what we try and focus our time on, and where we see people really struggling, is they'll be rock headed. They'll see that the numbers don't work, but then they get frustrated and then they have to buy something. You have to. I had to. You didn't have to. I had to. You didn't. And I still wouldn't have bought something with 3.5% returns when the bank is giving you 5. Like, you don't need the risk. Well, it's appreciating asset. I will hit you in the head with a skillet. Do not ever say appreciating
If
asset.
we look at Texas and we look at Florida right now, it ain't a really appreciation asset if you bought it at the wrong time.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing, especially if now the buyer of that asset needs to pay 7.5 when you paid 3.5.
Hmm?
It doesn't make sense. And so I think that far too few people focus on the this, and they focus on the this. And so that's where we spend our time. We spend our time setting up systems and processes. Thankfully, corporate America helped me a little bit with that. But setting up systems and processes. The other thing too is that I am the most arrogant, humble guy you'll ever find. And the reason I say it that way is because I believe what we do is amazing and second to none. However, I am humble enough to know that tomorrow I could change a bunch of things in my business if I see that they're not working, because I'm only married to success. And the process. I'm not, and the results that come from that. I am not married to whose idea it was and how it was done. No, 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 no. Yeah, well, I invented that process and it's not working anymore. No more process. We're doing it this way now because I saw somebody else doing that. I still watch a ton of content. I still try and learn.
Hmm?
I got 23 years doing this. Still
Yeah.
try and learn.
So that's one of my other questions, and I guess we can key on to is who do you learn from? What are your learning tools where you gather your information? I think that's very important for people to know is like this is where I'm getting my resources. This is some of the stuff I want. You don't got to give them everything now, but
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I think, in all honesty, I learn from other people in my market, so I go to landlord groups, I listen. I listen. I think it was really funny because it was probably a year and a half or 2 years in, and I don't, wear my unit count on my sleeve. It's different in the real world. And so, the president of the group starts yapping about something. It was a pretty big group. She was talking about something and she goes, you know what, maybe you could learn something. I mean, this person has 15 buildings. And my answer to her was, hey, listen, if you had actually cared anything about your constituency, you'd actually know how to run this thing a whole lot better, which is, I don't know, maybe ask people how many buildings they own and what they think their specialty is, and actually have people bringing that to the table, because you complain every month, well, we don't have any speakers. We don't have any speakers. You have 75 people showing up here every single month that probably can speak about something that they're going through, working on, or trying to buy, etc. And so
Yeah.
I purposefully joined a landlord group that had a bunch of people in their 60s and 70s. I
Mhm.
am their retirement plan. I will buy those items and those assets on seller-based financing. But I think the biggest mistake that people make is thinking that they have to have that in-person mentor.
Mhm.
You need to be taking it. You need to be watching Ray. You need to be watching me. There's a bunch of other people you can watch too, like Millennial Mike or Dion Talk or One Rental at a Time. There's a ton of them out there. Me personally, I don't love the bigger pocket stuff.
Mhm.
I think that there's a lot of stuff there, but a lot of it's for bigger landlords, and I think the cool thing for me and the thing that, keeps me grounded is that in our boot camps every single week are people that have never bought anything.